All right, we're going to begin the Mayor and Council work session for July 1, 2025. Review of the agenda. Governing body, number 1, Villa Rica Development Authority. Ms. Hallman, you're handling that one? Correct?
Sure.
Yes.
The Villa Rica Development Authority has the current term for the member, or the term for the current members have expired. There was or is a current 6-month holdover period that expires July 31st. So we need to have appointments made, at least at quorum level, if not all 7. I believe I sent an email last Friday regarding discussions with the mayor, and the suggested reappointments of the current ones would be Matthew or do I let me say the names? Just go ahead and.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that'd be good.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I kind of put you on the spot there.
It's
I
okay.
apologize.
No, that's okay. Reappointment of Matthew Montaham, Dale Schwarzkopf, Rusty Dean, and Thomas Scott Wilson. And then we also received 2 other interested people that were, two people that were interested, and they had their applications attached to the email that I sent, which was Julie Seepin and Vivian Lyons. I'd reached out or copied Kevin and Stacy, council, to let them know, do we have to have all 7 members appointed by mayor and council? And if we do not, what is the next step? And she said that would at least get us a quorum, but the Development Authority Act requires a minimum of 7 members, at least 4 members for a quorum and 4 votes for an action. So if you appoint 7 members, then we're good. If we appoint less than 7 and we don't fulfill all 7 by the end of July, then according to SB 171, after the first 6 months of the holdover period, y'all have the y'all can elect the successors. If not, the directors holdover the term is more than 6 months, then the remaining directors shall elect the successor.
So, obviously, we're not going to vote during this time, but if you all who had people in your ward or whatever that you recommended that put in an application are good with that and want to serve, then can we go ahead and put their names on, probably on for Tuesday?
Yeah, I know Julie Seppin is one that expressed interest in me, and she's in my ward, so.
Okay, so confirm that they want to serve.
Yeah, she's looking for it.
And Ms. Lyons also, so we'll be ready for Tuesday to do that. All righty.
But that would give us, that would give us 6 members then, so we need to find one more? Is that what, my math is
Yeah.
correct?
That would be ideal, and what will happen after July 31st is, right now, the governing authority
Mm-hmm.
has the authority to make the appointments. After July 31st, you lose the power to make those appointments, and the authority itself would fill those positions.
Okay, so I guess if anyone else can come up with one more person.
So we either fill it before the 31st or they fill it after the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to community development. Ms. Carter, item number 1, VA-02-25.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
And staff and members of the community. So the request before you is for multiple variances regarding signage. This is for the Peach State Trucking property that is under construction currently along I-20 that has also frontage on Liberty Road and Edge Road. There are about 10 variances that are being proposed. I have a whole packet. It's about 15 or so sheets in your packet, so I'll spare you going page by page. But what staff has done is gone through each of the recommendations for each of the requests. So if you scroll down, just kind of gives an idea of those 10 variances, what is proposed, what is required, and then what staff has approved, and which are 4 of those 10 variances in accordance with the code and the allowance for the 20% increase per the variance ordinance. And then you have the the planning commission approvals as well. There is a retaining wall that's about 391 square feet that's being proposed along the retaining wall along I-20. That was the only item that the planning commission denied for the applicants. Majority of the signage is just directional signage within. There are some other partners. They have some of their signage on the wall proposed as well. Didn't see any objection to that. The retaining wall, however, was denied by the planning commission. So it is up to you all to approve all, to approve a portion, to deny all, to approve all.
So I see you got proposed and then you got required, so they'll have to go by the required, or we'll have to decide if they want to do that, or if they want, or if we want to change.
Yes, so the proposed versus the required is what they are asking for versus what the code allows.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you all have the discretion to approve all, or however you'd like to break up the approval based on what you think is appropriate for the property.
Thank you.
Any more questions from staff on this side? I'm going to try to be organized. Anything? Okay. Any questions for staff? Okay. I did watch the meeting. That was very helpful to get their thinking and to hear the full discussion of this. We'll probably get some additional information on this on Tuesday, more expansive, so that citizens can see
Absolutely.
the details, because we'll have to have a public hearing. So this will come back on Tuesday.
Correct, and I'll have a presentation for you all, and the
All right.
applicants will be here to answer additional questions as well.
And the applicants will be here.
Correct, yes, ma'am.
Anything else
Not for this item,
that you
no,
want to
ma'am.
share on this? All right.
No, ma'am.
Then we'll move on to item number 2, VA-03-25, Skylar Evans, and this is some variances regarding the Scott Evans development.
Yes, so this property is for fewer variances, but variances nonetheless, specifically around landscaping and parking requirements per the code. There are 3 in particular, and I won't go through each one, but the idea is because the proposed applicant is going to be building a car dealership at this property along Industrial Boulevard, they are looking to have a little bit more visibility, having less landscaping within the parking lot, as they will be placing inventory there. So there won't be any movement of customers typically. And the intent of the code is really to slow down drivers, as they know people are going to be walking to and fro, but this particular location, they're not going to be doing that. So in talking with the applicant, I asked for them to make some concessions on how much they were asking to vary from the code, so that you didn't go from 20 feet to 3 feet. Bring it up to 10, give me a fence, things like that, and they were amenable to those. So, and the planning commission, which you've updated here, has approved all 3 variances as is, and of course, it is at your discretion to approve the variance per staff's recommendation, planning commission's approve all or deny all, or any combination thereof.
Ms. Carter, I just appreciate that you were there working with them, trying to get this worked out.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe finding a compromise on that. I know they talked about sidewalks and everything else.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was very helpful. Any questions for Ms. Carter over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions? Yes.
I don't know
Councilman Wilmoth.
I don't know if it makes any difference or not, but on the City of Villa Rica Planning and Zoning letter, I don't know which letter or which page this is in the letter in our packet, but it says it's Ward 2. It's actually Ward 3.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a big deal or not, but
I can make sure we update that. but it won't be any issue as it pertains to approving it in accordance with
Okay.
with the legal requirements for advertising.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good catch. On Ward 3, the only thing I want to make sure we look at, they were talking about one of their variances had to do with them not being as far back, and there's residential behind there in Ward 3. Is it 3rd Street? That Fullerville area, there's that backup in that area. As long as we have, if that gives them additional buffer for that residential, that's probably a nice advantage for the citizens that live over there. I mean, I know we have required buffers,
Right.
you know,
we
a
do.
certain amount, but
We
with
do.
a commercial business. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that out because I
Yes.
remember that from Ward 3. I just haven't been over there walking around in the woods, not my property,
Right.
you know, to see how the distance of this development will be from those citizens over there.
Right. Well, they will be required to maintain required buffers along the residential portion on the east side. On the north end is also commercial. There's a retaining, there's a detention pond that's just sitting on the property just north of them. And they were asking for the reduction in the landscape strip there, as well as along the main frontage on Industrial Boulevard. For visibility, the property kind of sits kind of a little low on the property. So we're looking for an opportunity to have a little less buffer so people could actually see the cars that are being sold.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Right. Thank you, Ms. Carter.
Thank you.
C1, Finance, Ms. Hallman. Budget amendments.
Amanda Long, interim.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay. It has both of our names up there.
Okay, there you
so,
go. All right.
Amanda Long, interim finance director.
Yeah, hang on one second.
All right, it may be far enough. Amanda Long, interim finance director. I'm coming to bring you budget amendments, 151 through 155. Pine Mountain is wanting to do away with a couple small projects they have and replace that with an exit bridge and a viewing platform. So they're doing away with the water wheel, and the HVAC unit replacement hasn't went out yet. So this is the budget amendment to move from those smaller projects to the larger project. Items 156 through 159, we're replacing the flooring in the fitness room, and this was budgeted as a capital project. But because it's more of a maintenance item, we're moving that back to maintenance and repair. So $15,000. The total cost of that project is actually $18,000. They're going to use $3,000 from their operating budget. Items 160 through 163. We're replacing wood picnic tables at Parks and Rec with accessible tables. Same thing, they were budgeted as a capital project, but they don't meet the threshold for capital. So we're moving that to the maintenance and repair budget so that they can get those ordered. Last item is to budget to use state seizure funds to purchase tactical shields. So pretty straightforward. Any questions?
Any questions from council? Yes, Councilman McCoy.
As I'm looking at it, like for instance, the 156 through 159, there are three $15,000 decreases and one 15. Why isn't it why? What are you trying to tell us that it's not looking like an in and out, like a balance? Is what I'm asking.
You've got 3 expense accounts and 1 revenue.
Okay, so is the whole taking consideration? I'm used to looking at everything matching. I'm not saying it doesn't, but are you saying that this whole amount is 45,000? Because there's 3 expense accounts?
The second one should actually say revenue, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, what it's showing is the first 2 lines are the capital project fund.
Okay.
So we're reducing the expenditure and reducing the transfer in from the general fund for that. So that's one fund. Then the next 2 line items are the general fund where we're placing that money in the line item. So looking at it, like you said, just by the numbers, it looks like 45,000, but because it's 2 separate funds, 350 and 100, we're acknowledging that the amendment needs to happen within the capital project fund as well as the general fund.
And I'm assuming the expense accounts start with the 6?
Yes.
The expense accounts are the ones after the fund you have the 6?
6 are the 9,000, yes, and the
Okay.
9,000 is an expense account. The longer line items are the expense accounts.
Okay. Okay. All right. I was just curious about that.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Ms. Long. Interim City Manager, Ms. Hallman.
Does council want to
Yeah.
make that a consent item?
Oh, yeah, okay. So C1, consent item number 1, and probably the only one. Short agenda. All right, City Manager, Ms. Hallman.
There is one item I'm going to ask to be added to the agenda. It's a resolution. The city of Milton was sued. Just some brief facts. A car ran off the roadway, struck a planter that was in a median, but within the city right of way, killed the driver, and the city of Milton was found liable for $35 million. And the trial court and the Court of Appeals upheld that, or the Court of Appeals upheld the trial court's verdict, and found that there was a ministerial duty to keep their roads safe, which is the law. But the interesting issue in this fact was that the planter was never found to be a defect in the road that needed repair. So they're challenging that issue. They're taking that issue up to the Supreme Court, and they've asked a number of cities just to join in their amicus briefing. 60 plus cities have already agreed to be part of that, so they're asking City of Villa Rica to sign on as in support of their amicus briefs. I think GMA's filed briefs. It sounds like EMC's have filed briefs, all in support of the city in this case. So I'm just going to ask that be added to the agenda for Tuesday. I'll distribute a copy of the proposed resolution so y'all can review it between now and then.
Thank
I
you
just got
for-
it last night, or we would have.
Yeah, thank you for covering that. When I got the email asking if we would sign on, I knew this much about the case, basically what they sent in the email. So I was unsure with the background and whether we should be a part of signing on to that amicus brief. And so thank you for reviewing that. So we'll look at that on Tuesday. All right, Ms. Holman, you're up.
All right, this is just a exciting announcement. On July 17th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Villa Rica Library, which is 869 Dallas Highway, we will be having our transportation open house. It's part of the Villa Rica Safety Action Plan, which is a vital first step in developing strategy to reduce fatal and serious injuries while promoting a safer, more efficient transportation network. This meeting is also, we have put out on the website. You can see the handouts as well as on the website. There's a QR code. That QR code will take you to the website that talks about what the safety action plan is, why we need it, the different steps that we're taking, the public forum, everything that we need to make steps toward having a good safety action plan and then implementing those items in the plan. Along with the information on the website, there's also a survey that we ask everybody to go on there and take, so that it allows us to get the data, work with our consultants to get the data to see what exactly are some of the concerns with the citizens. So this is just a reminder of the meeting for July 17th, and I'll make the announcement also at the council meeting.
If they don't use the QR code, they can go directly to the website.
Absolutely.
And get
There's
all
a
that
link.
information. Okay.
Absolutely. There's a link on the city's website under City News. You click on that, and then it will give you a brief history, and then it will have two links. It will have a link to the website, another website or another link that takes you to show, there you go, that takes you to the action plan website, if you'll click on that. That is the website, and scroll down and it will just tell you the what, whens, hows, and everything regarding the safety action plan. And then on the bottom is the survey. You can then click on there to also take the survey.
Didn't we receive this as a result of a grant?
We did. We actually received a $400,000 grant. We had to match it by $80,000, and so that is the funds that we're using now, and we're getting reimbursed. It's a reimbursable grant. As we spend the money, we ask for reimbursement. We get 80% of what we spent back as a reimbursement. So yes, this is a Safe Streets for All grant.
And it's citywide.
Citywide.
Streets, pedestrian, in-car. So this could be really helpful to us when we talk about where car crashes are or pedestrians crossing roads. So,
and the open
Good
house
thing.
will actually have that type of data to show, as well as, we can maybe see the results of some of the survey, but really encourage your constituents to take the survey.
any questions to my right? Any questions to the left? All right, we're good. Next big event, 2 days.
Yes. I've asked Tracy Ivy, the Parks and Rec Director, to just present Plan A and a secondary plan, just depending on the weather, for the big event that we have. So I'll let her take it from here.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tracy Ivy, Parks and Recreation Director. So we've been very fortunate in the past. This will be my fifth to not have to make any major changes or even minor changes due to weather. But several weeks ago, as you recall, we had quite a bit of rainfall, and we were prompted to start thinking about a Plan B, just in case we didn't see some corrective weather patterns in our favor. So fortunately, we've seen that, but be that as it may, we still wanted to go ahead and present to you what our Plan A, which is has been our original plan all along for a number of years, looks like. So hopefully you can make some sense of this. This just basically shows you how vast of an event this really is and how much of the park is actually utilized, which is basically all of it. And all the way up and down 61 too. So, I mean, you know how big the crowd is. But this is basically our layout. Our vendors, of course, we have 35 vendors this year. We put those vendors on the perimeter of the football field. Those include merchandising vendors, food vendors, nonprofits, folks that just want to come out and give away water or popcorn or some of those kinds of things. We have a dunk tank this year, so if anybody would like to come out and cool off, we'd like to have you. So this also shows you where our
Volunteer.
we can make a lot of money, y'all. I mean, let's think about this. It shows you our parking areas, which are by permit, either VIP parking or handicap decal must be presented for that. The top right-hand portion of that is the Ingalls lot, which is the bulk of our parking in the park interior. So it shows you where our helicopter rides are. They're on Field 2. It shows you where our employees park. It shows you where the actual fireworks start or shot off. So anyway, that's just to kind of show you the overall aerial concept. This shows you where our vendor parking, and I inadvertently flipped the VIP. No, actually, this is correct. This is the VIP parking where it's in the football field, and the handicap parking is up in the Civic Center parking lot. I think on Plan B, I inadvertently mixed those up. I apologize. But this is our layout as planned as of today. So we do have some a little bit more rainfall coming in this afternoon, I believe, than we've had the last few days, and just a little bit of chance tomorrow. Thursday's looking great. So if we were to have to go to Plan B, and what that would prompt us to do is basically because of field conditions in the Ingalls lot and on the football field. Everything else is pretty much on asphalt. It's no worry in terms of damage. So Plan B shows you in the top right where we would potentially close the inner half of the Ingalls lot that tends to hold water. And then we would put our, on the next screen, we would put our vendors, some of our food vendors, which have heavier equipment, food trucks and trailers. We would put those up on the entryway into the Civic Center there. It's like right behind the scores booth at the football field. So those would be on asphalt. We're able to dolly most of the inflatable equipment onto the field without having to actually put a trailer and a truck on the field. And then we've split the inflatables, so we have some near the entrance on the near end next to the stage. So we're trying to minimize any football wear because we're just a few weeks from football season. So we can't sustain any substantial damage. It just doesn't have time to recuperate between now and then. So, and then just to summarize, these are just some of the bullet points that tell you if we were to go to Plan B, the changes that we would be making. At this point, we feel good. We've been out on that football field since Wednesday, driving across it, through it, around it, just to make sure we're not, with just the limited rainfall that we've had, there's been no damage. So today is the trigger day, and so we certainly would have a decision made early tomorrow if we were to go to Plan B. But we feel confident with the weather pattern now that we're going to be okay. So I just want to point out, before any questions, that this is a huge event, as everybody knows. I think most of you, I know everybody I think I've seen out there at some point in time. There's a lot of city resources that go into this. Our grounds department works long hours trying to get everything set up. If you'll notice on these plans, there are staff tents, there's signage, there are barricades, and those things that have to be put out. That everything has to be mowed just to a T because this is a signature event for the city. So they do a lot of setup, probably starting today, I would imagine, Ethan, yesterday. So, and we've talked extensively about the decisions to, go from Plan A to Plan B. Our PD has a huge presence the day of with people coming in and handling decorum, and also the exit plan, which is a very well-oiled machine. Everything works great. I think last year everybody was out of the park by 10:15. It did 10:15, 10:30. It was quickly evacuated. The Parks and Recreation Department, we have a lot of full-time, part-time, seasonal people work. So it's a huge event. Corinna's done a great job scheduling working with the vendors. She created a Google Docs application process this year, so there's not so much paper and the danger of losing somebody's application and handing it off to this one and that one. So she's done a really, really good job of coordinating all this information with the vendors. So I just can't thank those guys enough, and I'm sure I'm missing some people, you guys, for supporting the event. But it's a huge event, so we're just looking forward to bringing a quality event to the community again. So hope to see you out there.
Thank you so much. And to the employees, Karina, I don't even know if you're sleeping this time of year, but it's a long, long day for our people out there, and it's hot. And so thank you so much for the effort. This is our biggest event of the entire year, every year. And I'm glad the weather forecast, at least at this point, looks really good.
Looks better.
So, any questions for staff here? Any questions? Okay, we're looking forward to it.
All right, we'll see you guys then.
All right, thank you. Ms. Holman, anything else?
That is it.
All right, then we'll finish and close the work session.